Okay, hello folks. Video number 2 uh, on or in English language about not so much really known topic, about a more low or liked known topic, about maybe some people here know this name, Georg Elser. It was on Georg Elser, the human, the person Georg Elser. It was on assassinator. Yes, assassinator. On Adolf Hitler, on the German dictator Adolf Hitler. And in difference to Stauffenberg, Graf Klaus Schenk, Graf Schenk von Stauffenberg, the more known topic, or the more known history, the assassination on Adolf Hitler on 20 July 1944. Georg Elser has make already us complete alone, without any help, without any partners, without any supporters. Georg Elser was making already on assassination on Adolf Hitler, on the German dictator Adolf Hitler, on the 8th November 1939. 1939. This is now in as example my last, or better my first video about the topic Natascha Kampusch abduction. This is now more text. I hope you have it, maybe here by my German, strong German accent in my English language here, in my English talk. It is now really hard for me to read that all and maybe comment that all on English in difference, or or better as example to the topic Natascha Kampusch by, I think, boot people Natascha Kampusch, and here also German Georg Elser. Natascha Kampusch, boot person, boot humans. Natascha Kampusch is alive. Georg Elser is not more alive. I think boot people are it worth to make videos about this two really brave and really good people, and these good people have not received respect and glory like they were deserved. Okay, Georg Elser. In a complete name, his complete name was Johann Georg Elser. Georg Elser, or Johann Georg Elser, was born on 40 January 1903, and he was died, or better, he was murdered on the 9th April 1945. Was a German worker who planned and carried out an elaborate assassination attempt on Adolf Hitler and often high-ranking and other high-ranking Nazi leaders on 8 November 1939 at the Bürgerbräukeller in Munich or in München, on German in München, on English in Munich, known as the Bürgerbräukeller Bombing. That is maybe in other lands outside Germany the known description for this case, for this will happen case. Elser, Johann Georg Elser, or only Georg Elser, Georg Elser, constructed and placed a bomb near the platform from which Hitler was to deliver a speech. It did not kill Hitler, unfortunately, like the most others assassination on Adolf Hitler, who left earlier than expected, but it will kill or have bring 8 people to die, or it have killed 8 people and injured 62 others. Elser was held as a prisoner for more than 5 years until moment, I must short explain that. Elser have made this assassination on Adolf Hitler at the 8th November 1939, the year. I have no knowledge as like is the complete correct name for this year 1939. On German 1939. But after this assassination, what was not successful, Hitler was not Hitler was not dying in this assassination. It was a failure. 8 people was killing by this bomb from Johann Georg Elser, or only Georg Elser, and 62 people was injured. Moment, here, now, sorry, I have sometimes short speak on German. Elser was held as a prisoner for more than 5 years until he was executed. After this assassination, he was held as a prisoner for more than 5 years. And then, short before the end of the World War II, he was executed at the Dachau concentration camp, less than a month before the surrender of Nazi Germany. Before the World War II, or only the part of World War II between Germany and the Allies was over. His background, his personal background from Georg Elser, or Johann Georg Elser, Johann Georg Elser, or only Georg Elser. His family and his early life. Georg Elser, or Georg Elser. The name normally used to refer to him only Georg Elser, or Georg Elser, was born in Hermeringen, Württemberg, to Ludwig Elser and Maria Müller. His parents married 1 year after his birth. Moment, I have a drink short a little bit before my mouth is to try to speak further. His parents married 1 year after his birth, and Maria moved to Königsbronn to live with Ludwig on his small holding. His father was a timber merchant, while his mother worked on the farm. Georg, or Georg, on German correct description or correct speaking, Georg, was often left to care for his younger siblings. Friederike, born in 1904, Maria, born in 1906, Ludwig, born in 1909, and Anna, born in 1910, 1910, and Leonard, born in 1913, 191, moment, the year, the separate, 1913, 1913, if it is correct. He's attended elementary school in Königsbronn from 1910 to 1917 and showed ability in drawing, penmanship and mathematics. His childhood was marred by his father's heavy drinking, was married, not married, only married. His childhood was marred by his father's heavy drinking. Elser recalled, I have only liked my cigarette. Elser recalled in his interrogation by the Gestapo in 1903 and 9 how his father habitually came home from work drunk. In other words, the real father, or the stepfather from Johann Georg Elser, was coming often home from the work drunking. His career and his social life before the assassination on Adolf Hitler from this assassinator, but in a good meaning of this word, assassination. In other words, he was a tyrant assassinator, if it will be such a fool. In 1917, Elser worked for half a year assisting in his father's business, seeking independence. He started an apprenticeship as a late operator at the smelter in Königsbronn, but had to quit for health reasons. Between 1919 and 1922, he was apprenticed to master woodworker Robert Zappa in Königsbronn. After dropping his class in Heidenheim Trade School, he worked in the furniture or furniture factory of Paul Rieder in Aalen. In 1952, he left home to briefly work at the Butcher woodworking company in the small community of Burnreed near Tettnang, exploring along Lake Constance on foot. He arrived at Friedrichshafen, the country or the city of Friedrichshafen, where he found employment shaping wooden propellers for the Flat-Kling aircraft manufacturer Dornier, the airplane manufacturer Dornier. Dornier is a a really well-known or was a really well-known former aircraft manufacturer. In August 19 sorry, I say it separately. In August 1902 and 5, a work friend enticed Elser to go with him to Constance, the city or the landscape Constance, but I think the city Constance, to work in a clock factory. Due to lack of work, the clock factory closed down, was sold, then reopened at the Schuckman clock factory. Elser was employed, but along with the other employees, he was dismissed when the factory mysteriously burned down after the owner had, on such as fully tried to sell the falling business. During this period, Elser shared a room with a communist co-worker who convicted him to join the Red Front Fighters League. Here, that was maybe Johann Georg Elser's first contact with communist people, communistic thinking people. He also joined traditional dress and dance groups in German Trachtenvereine, or better, on German Trachtenvereine. In 1902 and 9, he found work with Schönholzer, a small woodworking company in Bottighofen. This required Elsers to cross the border daily into Switzerland. The work ran out within 6 months. However, and he was let go. Around this time, Elser met a waitress, Mathilda Niedermann. When she became pregnant, he drove her by Geneva in Switzerland. Mathilda was found to be in the 4th month of pregnancy, including a little abortion. This child was born a boy named Manfred, the first son from Johann Georg Elser, or only Georg Elser, but this child was illegitimated. Is that correct? When the mother and the father from a child are not married together, and the child is born. In harder words, this child was a bastard. The mother and the father, Johann Georg Elser and Mathilda Niedermann, was not married before this child was born, or before his relationship. This child is the result. When Elser left Mathilde, he was left with child support payments that often surpassed his weekly wage. In 1930, Elser began commuting daily by ferry from Constance to work in the small Rotmund clock factory in Meersburg, where he made housing for wall and table clocks. At the Kreuzlingen Free Temperance Union, he started a friendship with a seamstress, Hilda Lang. Between May and August 1903 and 2, After Rodmund closed it down, he lived with several families in Meersburg, doing odd carpentry jobs. In August 1903 and 2, Elser returned to Königsbronn after receiving a call for help from his mother. His alcoholic father, often violent and abusive towards her, was now heavily in debt. Elser assisted his parents in their work and supplement his income by making furniture in a home workshop until his father was forced to sell the family property in late 1903 and 5. Elser escaped the grim family situation with music, playing flute, accordion, bass and sitar. Sitar is here. That is a sitar. Here, what you make music with your hands. A stringed instrument. A stringed music instrument. He joined the sitar club in Königsbronn in early 1903 and 3. Sorry when I don't tell the years correct, but I'm not sure how to talk the years correct. I say the like here 1903 and 3. I say 1903 and 3, or I say 1903 and 3. Apology for that, because English is not my native language. At around this time, Elser joined a hiking club where he met Elsa Herlen. He moved to lodge in the Herlens' basement, building kitchen cabinets, kitchen chairs, and a doll's house for Elsa. Their loving affair in the spring of 1903 and 6 led to her separation from her husband in 1903 and 7 and divorce in 1903 and 8. In 1903 and 6, Elsa worked with a carpenter named Krupp in Königsbronn, making desks and installing windows, but soon gave up the job, believing the pay was too low. He began working as a laborer at the Waldenmeyer armament factory in Heidenheim, commuting by train or by bike from Königsbronn. While working there, he began a friendship with a fellow employee, Maria Schmauder. One moment, please. In 1903 and 8, 1903 and 8 or H, Elsa's parents bought half of a double house together with their son Leonhard and his wife. Elsa felt cheated and was forced to move out of the house, severing ties with his family, except for his sister Maria in Stuttgart. In May 1903 and 9, he moved in with the Schmauder family in nearby Schneidheim. At Waldemar, Elser worked in the shipping department and had access to many parts of the plant, including the special department where fuses and detonators were produced. Here he have take and steal the first parts of his later bomb, or maybe more than one bomb, several bombs. Here he was having access to such parts for building explosives machines for his later assassination on Adolf Hitler. After his arrest and confession, Elser told the Gestapo that is now a quote from Johann Georg Elser. After his arrest and confession, Elser told the Gestapo before the kitchen to take my action in the fall of 1938. I have stolen neither parts nor powder from the factory. His ideology and religion. Elser, Johann Georg Elser, or only Georg Elser. Elser, a carpenter and cabinet maker by trade, became a member of the left-leaning Federation of Woodworkers Union. He also joined the Red Frontiers Fighter Assassination. Although he told the interrogators in 1939 that he attended a political assembly no more than 3 times while a member. He also stated that he voted for the Communist Party until 1933, after he considered the KPD, the Communistic Party of Germany, the best defender of workers' interests. There is evidence that Elser's opposed Nazism from the beginning of the regime in 1933. He used it to perform the Hitler salute. He did not join others in listening to Hitler's speeches broadcast on the radio, and did not vote in the elections or referendums during the Nazi era. So he was completely outside from the system. He was not doing any collaboration with the system in Germany between 1933 and 1945. Elser met Josef Schur, a communist from Schneidheim, at the Woodworkers Union meeting in Königsbrunn in 1933. Elser had extreme views, supported by a letter that Schur sent to a newspaper in Ulm in 1947, which stated that Elser was always extremely interested in some act of violence against Adolf Hitler and his cronies. Point: he always called Hitler a gypsy. On just had to look at his criminal face. That was the opinion from Elser. If he have seen Hitler's face, he has the opinion Hitler is a gypsy, or is half a gypsy. Elser's parents were Protestant, and he attended church with his mother as a child. Took his attendance lapsed. His church attendance increased during 1903 and 9. After he had decided to carry out of the assassination attempt, either at the Protestant or Roman Catholic Church. He claimed that church attendance and the recitation of the Lord's Prayer calmed him. He told his arresting officers, his quote, "I believe in the survival of the soul after death, and I also believe it that I will not go to heaven if I had not had an opportunity to prove that I wanted good. I also wanted to prevent by my act even greater bloodshed." Now the really assassination from Johann Georg Elser, or only Georg Elser, on Adolf Hitler, on the German dictator Adolf Hitler. Prelude, his motive or his motives. During 4 days of interrogation in Berlin, from the 19th to 22 November 1903 and 9, Elser articulated his motive to his interrogators. "I considered how to improve the conditions of the workers and avoid a war. For this I was not encouraged by anyone." In other words, he was acted and he was planned the complete assassination alone. Only he alone. Only he self. Even from Radio Moscow, I never heard that the German government and the regime must be overthrown. I reasoned that the situation in Germany could only be modified by a removal of the current leadership. I mean Hitler, Göring and Goebbels. I did not want to eliminate Nazism. I was merely of the opinion that moderation in the police objectives will occur throughout the sorry. I did not want to eliminate Nazism. I was merely of the opinion that a moderation in the I have only shirt take my I have only take my shirt again off. I was before here with bar pressed, and now I have make my shirt again. I wear again my shirt. That was the reason for my for the sound before some minutes. Apology, I must read it again. His prelude or his motifs. During 4 days of interrogation in Berlin between the 19 and 22 November 1903 at 9, Elser articulated his motive to his interrogators. I considered how to improve the conditions of the workers and avoid a war. For this I was not encouraged by anyone. In other words, he was planned the assassination alone, and he was doing the assassination on Adolf Hitler later alone. Even from Radio Moscow, I never heard that the German government and the regime must be overthrown. I reasoned that the situation in Germany could be modified by a removal of the current leadership. I mean Hitler, Göring and Goebbels. I did not want to eliminate Nazism. I was merely of the opinion then that a moderation in the police objectives will occur throughout the elimination of these three men. The idea of elimination leadership came to me in the fall of 1938. I took myself that this is only possible by if the leadership is together at a rally. From the daily press I gathered that the next meetings of leaders was happening on 8 and 9 November 1938 in Munich, or in München, or on German in München, or on English, or on Munich, in the Bürgerbräukeller, in this place, Bürgerbräukeller, where Hitler was every day, not every day, every years, making the speech for the Bierhall-Putsch in 1973 for the what is the word for when it is being remembered and they make a statement at a party again and again to remember this date before his Bierhall-Putsch 10 years earlier in 19 before he came to power in 1933 for his Bierhall-Putsch in 1917 and 3. 5 years later in Dachau, in the concentration camp Dachau, SS officer Lichner claimed Elser revealed his motive to him. The quote from Elser, what the SS officer Lichner had noticed, I had to do it because for his whole life Hitler has meant the downfall of Germany. Don't think that I'm some kind of diet in the rule communist. I'm not. I had some sympathy for Ernsten, the real communist leader, but was also murdered in a concentration camp in Buchenwald, in another concentration camp in Buchenwald. But getting rid of Hitler just became an obsession of mine. But as you can see, I got caught, and now I have to pay for it. I would have preferred it if they executed me right away. He was loud. Apology, I have talked a German word. He was in this description here, in this words from a former SS officer Lichner. He was ready to die here. I would have preferred if they'd executed me right away, but I don't think so. I think Elser was hoping to live and to see the time after the World War II. I don't think Elser was hoping to die soon. That is a lie, yeah, from a former SS officer. The plot. In order to find out how best to implement his assassination plan, Elser traveled to Munich, or München, on German or München, on English, or to Munich by train on 8 November 1938, the day of Hitler's renewal speech of the anniversary of the Bierhall-Putsch, or Bierhall-Putsch. Elser was not able to enter the Bürgerbräukeller until 10:30 p.m. when the crowd had dispersed. He stayed until midnight before going back to his lodging. The next morning he returned to Königsbrunn. On the following day, 10 November, the anti-Jewish violence on the Kristallnacht took place in Munich or München. In the following weeks, I slowly, this is now a quote from Johann Georg Elser, or only Georg Elser. In the following weeks, I slowly concocted in my mind that it was the best to pack explosives in the pillar directly behind the speaker's podium. His plan, what I was later making really true. As I told his interrogators a year later, he continued to work in the Waltermeyer armament factory in Heidenheim and systematically stole explosives, hiding packets of powder in his bedroom. Realizing he needed the exact dimension of the column to build his bomb, he returned to Munich, or München, on German, München in English Munich, staying between 4 and 12 April 1939. He took a camera with him, a Christmas gift from Maria Schmauder. He had just become unemployed, due it to an argument with a factory supervisor. In May, or between April and May 1939, Elser found a laboring job at the Vollmer quarry in Königsbrunn. While there, he collected an arsenal of 105 plastic cartridges and 125 detonators, causing him to admit to his interrogators, now again a quote, I knew 2 or 3 detonators were sufficient for my purposes, but I took the surplus with increased but I hope the surplus or surplus will increase the explosive effect. He was knowing, or he was thinking already, he need not so much explosive stuff or dynamite or bombs or such things, TNT, explosive stuff, but he was thinking the more the better. Yes, it's in a logical thinking, it is correct. The more you have explosive, the more the greater is the later explosion. Living with the Schmauder family in Schneidheim, he made many sketches, tell his host that he was working on an invention. In July, in a moment, I have scrolled too deep. In July, in a secluded orchard owned by his parents, Elser tested several prototypes of his bomb. Clock movements given to him in lieu of rages when leaving Rodmont in Merseburg in 1903 and 2, and a car indicator Winker were incorporated into the infernal machine. In August, after a bout of sickness, he left for Munich. Now I tell the last time or German München, on English only Munich. Powder explosives, a battery and detonators filled the false bottom of his wooden suitcase. Other boxes containing his clothes, clock movements and the tools of his trade. The location here, the Bürgerbräukeller, where he later made the assassination, the failure assassination on Adolf Hitler. The bomb was going correct, the explosion was correct, but Hitler was not more in the near from the bomb. The Bürgerbräukeller. Elser arrived in Munich on 5th August 1939 using his real name. He rented a room in the apartments of two unsuspecting couples. At first staying with the Baumans, and from 1 September Alphonse and Rosa Lehmann Point. He soon became a bachelor at the Bürgerbräukeller restaurant for his evening meal. He was making apology for this noise. I have make me only a new cigarette. He was making for his assassination on Adolf Hitler, on the German dictator Adolf Hitler. He was making every evening, having his dinner in this location here, the Bürgerbräukeller restaurant, for his evening meal. And later he was doing the work for his later bombing, for his later assassination. I'll read it again, apology. He soon became a regular at the Bürgerbräukeller restaurant for his evening meal. He was having every evening there his dinner time. As before, he was able to enter the adjoining Bürgerbräukeller hall. Before, the doors were locked at about 10:30 p.m. Over the next 2 months, Elser stayed all night inside the Bürgerbräukeller between 3:0 and 3 and 5 times, near 40 nights, between 30 nights and between 30 nights and 40 nights. Every night he was making the complete work for his assassination alone, without any help, without any partner, without any supporter, only alone. Working on the gallery level and using a flashlight dimmed with a blue hand kerchief, he started by installing a secret door in the timber paneling to a pillar behind the speaker's voice room. After removing the after removing the plaster behind the door, he hollowed out a chamber in the brickwork for his bomb, normally completing his work around or between 2 and 3 at the morning, after midnight. He does it in the storeroom of the gallery until the doors were unlocked at about 6:30 at the morning. He then left via a rear door, often carrying a small suitcase filled with debris, with the material he was making out of this what is the name? With the material he was making by his work at this where his bomb was later inside. Security was relatively lax at the Bürgerbräukeller. Christian Weber, a veteran from the beer hall putsch at the Munich city council, was responsible. However, from the beginning of September, after the outbreak of war with Poland, Elser was aware of the presence of air raid wardens and through free running dogs in the building. So Elser was watching out for personnel, for workers there, for watching, for other humans, and bombing air raids. Here bombing from England and France, but I think more bombing from England at the night, and free running dogs without a person in the near from the dogs. So he was having three things he must looking for. At the same time, he was making his work between 20 and 40 nights. That is really hard for only one person. That is also the reason or better, that is also the reason for. Later have some people think Elser was not alone, or he was having support or help. No, he was completely alone. He was a real hero. While he worked at night in the Bürgerbräukeller, Elser built his device. During the day, he purchased extra parts, including sound insulation, from local hardware stores, and became friends with the local master woodworker Brock, who allowed him use it of his workshop. On the nights of 1 and 2 November, or between 1 and 2 November, Elser installed the exercises in the pillar. On 4 and 5, or between the 4 and 5 November, which were Saturday and Sunday dance nights, he had to buy a ticket and wait in the gallery until after 1 a.m. before he could install the twin clock mechanism that will trigger the detonator. He was extremely hardworking and extremely patient and extremely motivated. That is so hard to believe that the most people up to today doesn't remember Georg Elser, the real hero if his assassination would be successful, Hitler will be dead already in the year 1939. It was never given World War II, and it was never given a Holocaust. It was never given such human losses. It is so hard to believe that this real hero, this real alone working, alone planning, alone thinking hero, he received no the respect he was absolutely deserved. Before he could install the twin clock mechanism that will trigger the detonator to celebrate the completion of his work. Elser recalled later his statement, his only quote: "I left by the back road and went to the Isatorplatz, where at the kiosk I drank 2 cups of coffee." He was making maybe even between his work every night, 40 nights, up to 40 nights, a short pause, on German pause. He was make a short quiet between his work, his lonely hard work, and he was drinking at the kiosk 2 cups of coffee. On 6th November, Elser left Munich to Stuttgart to stay overnight with his sister, Maria Hurd, and her husband, leaving then his toolboxes and baggage. He returned to Munich the next day for a final check. He was having installed already his bomb for killing Adolf Hitler, for the assassination of Adolf Hitler, and he was already come back to Munich, to the beer hall Bürgerbräukeller, to check is his bomb ready and is all okay, for making being sure. Arriving at the Bürgerbräukeller at 10 p.m. He waited for an opportunity to open the bomb chamber and satisfy himself the clock mechanism was correctly set. The next morning he departed Munich by a train for Friedrichshafen via Ulm. After a shave and a hairdresser, he took the 6 and 3 and 0 p.m. steamer to Constance. Moment, I check short my video time. Yes, okay. I think I finished it. Now the real assassination on Adolf Hitler, or the real bombing. The planned assassination on Adolf Hitler, and normally it will also be successful, but unfortunately Adolf Hitler was not more in the near. Adolf Hitler was going out 21 and 3 minutes before the bombing. Hitler's escape. The high-ranking Nazis who accompanied Adolf Hitler to the anniversary of the beer hall putsch, or beer hall putsch, on 8 November 1939, were Joseph Goebbels, Reinhard Heydrich, Rudolf Hess, Robert Ley, Alfred Rosenberg, Julius Streicher, August Frank, Hermann Esser, and Heinrich Himmler. Hitler was welcomed to the platform by Christian Weber. So if the bombing, if the assassination was successful, he would not only kill Hitler, he would also kill, if it was perfect, he would also kill all these people together with Hitler. Unknown to Elser, Hitler had initially changed his speech at the Bürgerbräukeller to devote his attention to planning the imminent war with France, but changed his mind and attended after all. As a fog was forecast, possible preventing him from flying back to Berlin the next morning. That was the reason why Hitler is going earlier. He must using the train. He was not able to using airplane by fog, by weather problems. Hitler decided to return to Berlin the same night by his private train. With the departure from Munich main station set for 9:30 p.m., the start time of the reunion was brought forward half an hour to 8 p.m. and Hitler cut his speech from the planned 2 hours to 1 hour duration. Hitler ended his address to the 3,000 strong audience of the party faithful at 9:07 p.m. 1 and 3 minutes before Elser's bomb exploded at 9:02 p.m. By the time Hitler and his entourage had left Bürgerbräukeller. That was the problem. Normally, the talk from Hitler, the speeching from Hitler was going longer, but by some reasons, what Elser was not knowing, Hitler was making his speech shorter, and so he was going 13 minutes before the bomb was exploded. The bomb brought down part of the ceiling and roof and caused the gallery and the external wall to collapse, leaving a mountain of rubble. About 1, 2, and 0 people were still in the hall at the time. 7 were killed: the cashier, Maria Henle, Franz Lutz, Wilhelm Kaiser, a radio announcer named Weber, Leonhard Reindl, Emil Kasperger, and Eugene Schachter. 1 second, please. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Between 7 and 8 people died at the moment the bomb was explode, and much people was injured. Here, moment, I read it. Another 63, up to 63 people between 16 and 63 people were injured. 16 seriously from this 63 people, with one dying later. So it was one quickly dead people, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and on people, on human was dying later. Eight people died. 63 were injured, and 16 from this 63 people extremely seriously. All but one of those killed were members of the Nazi Party, of which all but one had been long-time supporters of the ideology. Only this woman here, the first victim, the cashier Maria Händler, was not having a real connection with the Nazi Party, with the NSDAP party. Hitler did not learn of the attempt of his life until later that night on a stop in Nuremberg. When told of the bombing by Goebbels, Hitler responded, "A man has to be lucky." A little later, Hitler had a different spin, or different spine, saying, "Now I am completely at peace. My leaving the Bürgerbräukeller earlier than usual is proof to me that Providence wants to me to reach my goal." That was Hitler sick, but Hitler was not really mental sick. That was Hitler absurd thinking. He was held, or he was saved by God or angels or something, honoring the victims, the people what really died, except Hitler. In Munich on 9 November, the Venerable Guard of Honor for the 16 blood martyrs of the NSDAP, on German the Nationalsozialistische Deutsche Arbeiterpartei, the National Socialist German Workers' Party, who died in the beer hall putsch of 1972, was held at the Feldherrnhalle as usual. 2 years later, at the same location, an official ceremony for the victims of the Bürgerbräukeller bombing took place. Hitler returned from Berlin to stand before 7 flag-trapped coffins as Rudolf Hess addressed the SS guard, the onlookers and listeners to Großdeutsche Rundfunk, Greater German Radio, in his half-hour oration. Hess was not short on hyperbole. Here the quote, what Hess was speaking. At this time, the German people take their sad leave of the victims of a gruesome crime, a crime almost unparalleled in history. The perpetrators of this crime were succeeded in teaching the German people to hate. This enormous crime, this war which forced upon us, will turn out in favor of the Führer, in favor of Germany, in favor of Germany and the entire world. After the song, this melody, after Der gute Kamerad, the song with this name, Der gute Kamerad, after Der gute Kamerad was played, Hitler raised a thread of chrysanthemums on each coffin, then stepped back to lift his arms in the Nazi salute. The very slow playing of Deutschland über alles, the German natural anthem with all through lines. The very slow playing of Deutschland über alles ended the solemn ceremony. Arrest from here Johann Georg Elser, or only Georg Elser, the assassinator of Adolf Hitler. At 8:45 p.m. on the night of 8 November, Elser was apprehended by two border guards. 25 meters or 25 Meter, 80 feet on English, on German 25 Meter or 25 meters, on English 80 feet from the Swiss border fence in Constance. When taken to the border control post and asked to empty his pockets, he was found to be carrying wire cutters, numerous notes and sketches pertaining to explosive devices, frying pins, and a blank color postcard of the interior of the Bürgerbräukeller. At 11 p.m. during Elser's interrogation by the Gestapo in Constance, news of the bombing in Munich arrived by teleprint. The next day, Elser was transferred by car to Munich Gestapo headquarters. Hard for me, because I say it again in the video, also in English, about the topic. Natascha Kampusch, English is not my native language. You hear it, and you can think how hard this is for me to talk, to speak this complete time in a foreign language. Investigation. While still returning to Berlin by train, Hitler ordered Heinrich Himmler to put Adornebe, head of the Kripo or criminal police, in charge of the investigation into the Munich bombing. Hitler did this, but also assigned total control of the investigation to the chief of the Gestapo, Heinrich Müller. Müller immediately ordered the arrest of all Bürgerbräukeller personnel, while Niebe ran the on-site investigation, sitting through the debris. Niebe had early success finding the remains of brass plates bearing patent numbers of a clock maker in Schwenningen, Baden-Württemberg, despite the clear evidence of the German make. Himmler released to the press that the metal parts pointed to foreign origin. Himmler offered a reward of 500,000 Mark, the German money to this time, Mark. Himmler offered a reward of 500,000 marks for information, leading to the capture of the culprits, and the Gestapo was soon deluged with hundreds of suspects. When one suspect was reported to have detonator parts in his pockets, Otto Rappold of the counter-espionage arm of the Gestapo sped to Königsbronn and neighboring towns. Every family member and possible acquaintance of Elser was rounded up for interrogation. At the Schmauder resistance in Schneidheim, 16-year-old Maria Schmauder told of her family recent boarder who was working on an invention, had a false bottom in his suitcase and worked at the Vollmer quarry. Moment, I look short. Interrogation in Munich, interrogation in Berlin. Sorry, I must skip a little bit. That is all too much, what is not really important. Here, that is more interesting, the Nazi propaganda. Discarding the interrogation report that found Elser solely responsible, Hitler proceeded to use the Bürgerbräukeller bombing for propaganda purposes. On 22 November, German newspapers were filled with the story that the assassin, Georg Elser, had been funded by the British intelligence service, while the organizer of the crime was Otto Strasser. Photos of two British SAS officers, Richard Henry Stevens and Sigismund Payne Best, captured in the Venlo incident on 9 November. Uh, 939 shared the front page of Deutsche Allgemeine Zeitung with a photo of Georg Elser. But this was only propaganda. I don't read the rest. I have only talked that now because that was to this time already known. It is propaganda. Here, that is also clear. Georg Elser was having in Gestapo imprisonment, this people was making to Georg Elser was making Georg Elser was having, and this people was making to him torturer, drugs and hypnosis. Moment, I look for the for the length from the video. Good. I'm in a good recording time. Sorry, I must skip a little bit. Here, this is also interesting. The reconstruction of the bomb. While at Berlin Gestapo headquarters, Müller put Elser into a workshop and ordered him to reconstruct the explosive device he used at the Bürgerbräukeller. When Reinhard Heydrich and Walter Schellenberg visited Elser in the workshop, Schellenberg noted Elser responded to a questioning. Moment. One moment, please. While at Berlin Gestapo headquarters, Müller put Elser into a workshop and ordering him to reconstruct the explosive device he used at the Bürgerbräukeller. When Reinhard Heydrich and Walter Schellenberg visited Elser in the workshop, Schellenberg noted what is the word on German, Klammern. Here the name Elser. Elser is meant with that he Elser responded to a questioning only with reluctance, but opened it up when he was praised for his craftsmanship. Then he will comment on his reconstructed model in detail and with great enthusiasm. Elser's reconstruction of his Bürgerbräukeller bomb was held in such high regard by the Gestapo, they adopted it into their fields manuals for training purposes. Moment, I must skip a little bit. Yeah, sorry, but that is all too much. I have really problems to talk so long on German, on English. Here, the last part, the sadly last part from the hero, the real hero, Johann Georg Elser, or only Georg Elser. Imprisonment, imprisonment. Elser never faced a trial for the bombing of the Bürgerbräukeller. After his years of torment at Berlin Gestapo headquarters, he was kept in special custody in Sachsenhausen concentration camp between early 1941 and early 1945. At Sachsenhausen, Elser was held in isolation in a T-shaped building reserved for protected prisoners, accommodated in 3 joined cells, each 9.3 and 5 on German Quadratmeter, the space. There was space for his 2 full-time guards and a workspace to make furniture and other things, including several sitters. Elser's apparent preferential treatment, which included extra rations and daily visits to the camp barber for a shave, aroused interest amongst other prisoners, including British SAS officer Payne Best. He wrote later that Elser was also allowed regular visits to the camp brothel. I think he made with this camp brothel to prostitutes, to women. Elser, as a prisoner, was allowed to have visits to a house with prostitutes, with women who do prostitution. Martin Niemöller was also a special inmate in the Sachsenhausen bunker and believed the rumors that Elser was an SS-man and the agent of Hitler and Himmler. Elser kept a photo of Elser Herlen in his cell in early 1945. Elser was transferred to the bunker at Dachau concentration camp. Now the saddest part, the death of Johann Georg Elser, or only Georg Elser. In April 1945, with German defeat imminent, the Nazis' intention of staging a show trial over the Bürgerbräukeller bombing had become futile. Hitler ordered the execution of special security prisoner Eller, that was the nickname for Elser. Here it is standing for. in April 1945, with German defeat in Minment, the Nazis' intention of staging a show trial over the Bürgerbräukeller bombing had become futile. Hitler ordered the execution of special security prisoner Eller, the name used for Elser in Dachau, along with Wilhelm Canaris, Dietrich Bonhoeffer and others who had plotted against him. The order dated at or on 5th April 1945 from the Gestapo headquarters in Berlin was addressed to the commandant of the Dachau concentration camp, SS Obersturmbannführer Edward Weiter. The order came into the position of Captain Payne Best in May 1945 and appeared in Best's book The Venlo Incident. That part of the order relating to Elser reads: the question of our prisoner in special protective custody, Eller, in reality Elser, has also again been discussed at highest level. The following directions have been issued on the occasion of one of the next terror attacks on Munich, bombing air raids, or as the case may be, the neighborhood of Dachau. It shall to pretended that Eller suffered fatal injuries. I request you therefore, when such an occasion arises, to liquidate Eller, or better Elser, as discreetly as possible. Please take steps that only a few people who must be special pledged to silence hear about this. The notification to me regarding the execution of this order shall be something like on ... caused by a terror attack, in other words, in Allied bombing air raids on the prisoner in protective custody. Eller was fatally wounded. After noting the contents and carrying out of the orders containing in it, destroyed this letter. The thick nature of this order was illegible according to Best. Here order, moment. Okay, I must read it. Other person had wrote about this topic in his 1947 book To the Bitter End. Hans Bernd Gisevius comment to the order on the order: when the Gestapo men killed on their own account of the direct orders of Himmler, they did not require such complicated instruction, and Hitler's orders for the liquidation of unwanted persons were not usually phrased in so tactful a manner. With his own end in sight, Hitler suddenly recalled the existence of the zither player, and fearfully, as if possessed by a sudden and inexplicable shame, this murderer of millions attempted to conceal his execution of an assassin who had long since been forgotten by the world public. And now what has happened then by these orders or not, on paper or only direct by talk. On 9th April 1954, 4 weeks before the end of the war in Europe, Georg Elser was shot dead and his fully dressed body immediately burned in the crematorium of Dachau concentration camp. He was in total 22 years old. The man what has shooting at Georg Elser in 1954, SS Oberscharführer Theodor Bungartz, the man in the charge of the crematorium at Dachau, was determined to have been the murderer of Georg Elser. During a German court proceeding in which SS Unterscharführer Edgar Stiller was on trial as an accessory to a murder. As the SS man in charge of the special prisoners of Dachau from 1943 to 1945, Stiller was accused to escorting Elser to the crematorium, where he was electrically shot by Bungartz. Theodor Bungartz was not proud to account, as he had died of an illness in 1945. In other words, the person who has shot Georg Elser to death, who have killed Georg Elser, was not more alive. So it was never it was not more a murder there to make a trial. The person, Hitler, or a person near Hitler, who have give the order to this execution, were not more alive. The real killer from Georg Elser was also not more alive. So it is hard to make anyone a trial, because this persons who really have his hands in the death of, or in the killing, in the murdering of Georg Elser, was not more alive, or all people, the most people from them. A plague. Sorry, I do now read a little bit faster, because my time is running. A plaque dedicated to Elser's memory in Königsbrunn says, "I wanted to prevent even greater bloodshed throughout my deed. In memory of Johann Georg Elser, who spent his youth in Königsbrunn on 8 November 1903 and 9, he tried to prevent genocide by assassination Adolf Hitler. On 9th April 1945, Johann Georg Elser was murdered in the Dachau concentration camp." And now, but I talk only short about it here. Conspiration or conspiracy theories. Elser was only a tool from some Nazis or so. I think it is all nonsense. The same conspiration theories was also making about Marinus von der Luppe, the person with the Reichstag burning. Sorry, I don't read that. That is too much nonsense. Conspiration theories, memorials for Georg Elser or Johann Georg Elser here in some German cities. We have now, after a long time, Georg Elser was not the name Georg Elser, or his action was not talking or speaking loud in public. Georg Elser was only forgotten in much German cities, and so we have now streets and halls and locations with his name here for remembering. And the moment here, now the important part. That was my first movie. I'm a citizen of the former GDR, East Germany, for other people, for people to understanding outside from Germany. I'm a citizen from the former GDR, German Democratic Republic, or East Germany. And after the fall of the wall in Berlin, after my first visit in West Germany, I was reading about this movie because in the former GDR, German Democratic Republic, or East Germany, we have absolutely nothing known about Georg Elser. We was only hearing and reading and talking about Stauffenberg. The story of Elsass is commemorated in the 1989. That is a year from the fall of the wall in Berlin. Film 7 minutes on German. I know only the German title. Georg Elser, einer aus Deutschland, directed by Klaus-Maria Brandauer, the actor and the producer Klaus-Maria Brandauer here, the 1989 film adaptation. And in the reboot or new film adaptation 2015 film, 13 minutes of German Elser, hätte die Welt verändert, or only Elser, directed by Oliver Hirschbiegel. But I think this film here from Klaus-Maria Brandauer, the first movie adaptation, this film here is the really good film. Also with some not historical accurate details, but I think this film is better. The rest is here after 2015. The newer film movie adaptation is only a wokeness left, stupid left, crazy left, lefties film adaptation. Here the version from the 1 second, I have not completely moment. I look. Is it also to see? Yeah, yes, it is to see. Moment. How? Okay, the time is okay. Here, this movie adaptation from this topic, Johann Georg Elser or Georg Elser. The story of Elser, of Johann Georg Elser, or only Georg Elser, is commemorated in the 1989 film 7 minutes. In reality, it was not 7 minutes, it was 13 minutes on German. Georg Elser, einer aus Deutschland, directed by the actor and producer Klaus-Maria Brandauer. This movie is really the better version about this topic. Even with some unrealistic dramatic details what was not so really happened. In this movie, it is Klaus Maria Brandauer here, the actor and the director, and the producer is not only the producer and the director. Klaus Maria Brandauer is auch plays also the role of Georg Elser, and Brian Dennehy, I think he's in the meantime also dead. Brian Dennehy, the former actor, if it in the meantime not more alive. Brian Dennehy is here also playing a role from the criminal inspector who is chasing at the end of the film, especially at the end of the film, Georg Elser. This movie adaptation here, if this is really the title, 7 minutes on German, Georg Elser, einer aus Deutschland, this movie is really the best adaptation, because it was making before the most people have ever talked about Georg Elser. Georg Elser was, and that is really hard to believe, he was the first and the only one assassinator on Adolf Hitler, who have acted completely alone, who have planned his assassination completely alone, and who, when the assassination on Adolf Hitler will become successful, who have made the biggest result, because it will never exist to World War II and the Holocaust. And especially this person, Georg Elser, Johann Georg Elser, is more or less completely forgotten. About Stauffenberg or other people who have tried to kill Adolf Hitler, there exist so much books and films and stuff, but about Georg Elser, so good like nothing, and that is really hard. Okay, moment, I show him again for the outro. Yes. Here. Moment. Okay, my video is active. My recording is active. Georg Elser. When his assassination on Adolf Hitler at the end of the year 1903 and 9 will become successful, it will never given, not only never happen, it will also never given a World War II, it will never given the Holocaust, it will never given about 50 million dead people around the world, no matter soldiers, civilians, Jews, especially 6 million, maybe about 6 million Jews. And this really hero, this really brave, alone acting, alone thinking, alone planning hero is more or less completely forgotten. That is really hard. That is really sad. That was the reason why I have made now this long video about Georg Elser, because he was a real hero. In same so, I have make a video about Natascha Kampusch. Natascha Kampusch is a really brave woman. This man here, Georg Elser, Johann Georg Elser, is a really brave man. Only 1 and 3, only 13 minutes later, Hitler will be died in 1903 and 9, at the beginning of the World War II. In other words, it will never happen a World War. It will never given a World War II in this dimensions. The World War II was include the Holocaust, the topic, the extremely sad topic, Holocaust. Remember, look at the face. He was completely acting alone. He was completely planning his assassination alone. He was dying short before the end of World War II. Look at the face from Natascha Kampusch and look at the face of Johann Georg Elser, or only Georg Elser. That are real heroes. Okay? That was now my video number 2 on English. Maybe I make later and further more. Now you have seen I have longer, I have speaking, I was speaking longer, I have speak longer like in the video before about Natascha Kampusch. I must or I want first looking like it is really that people enjoy that, and that then when I see it is okay when I make sometimes video also on English, then I make naturally also more if you like. Okay. I don't say like with Natascha Kampusch enjoy and have fun to watch this. For this topic is too serious, but if you like, read self about this man here, this really brave man, or about Natascha Kampusch, this really brave woman. Ciao.